Hello Geminis, and welcome back to the channel. This is Awaken Healings with Jess. I'm here to bring you an impromptu healing message given the state of the nation and what's going on with this global pandemic. So wasn't planning on coming onto camera tonight. Sorry, I can't speak. I've been doing readings all evening, so I'm getting down to the last few. But yeah, I wasn't planning on coming on tonight, but spirit guides were like, no, we've got messages that needs to come through the tarot. So, they've been nudging me for the past day and a half to come on. So here I am. So again, excuse my attire. I'm just in a comfortable hoodie. And yeah, so let's connect, all right? So I'm using the regular Rider-Waite tarot deck. I'm going to pull 3 cards. And the first one's going to represent you. Second one's going to represent the situation. Third will be the overall outcome or the advice from Spirit. All right. We do have some really nice oracle decks that I will be pulling from as well. The messages have been really lovely and pretty synchronistic. They've been confirming what's coming through in the tarot, just sort of enhancing the tarot message, and then also confirming, the messages amongst themselves. So it's been really good. So let's see what we've got for you all, Geminis. Okay, start with bottom of the deck energy. Nostalgia, 6 of Cups. Yeah. Sagittarius got this card as well, and I feel like, Geminis, that many of you are sort of reflecting on the past, reflecting on the good times, and maybe looking towards the past for answers right now. So given where we are right now as a nation and what's going on, in society, it's unprecedented, what's happening with us. It's something we're not used to. We've never been told to go home, shelter in place, and self-quarantine or social distance ourselves, and a lot of us are home now. Kids are out of school and many of us are working from home. So there's a lot of free time, a lot of downtime. Life has gotten slower suddenly and unexpectedly, and it's a drastic change from what life was a week to 2 weeks ago to what it is today. It literally has almost come to a standstill. Can't go anywhere, can't do anything. You're home with, your family. And I feel like, there's a sense of nostalgia that's going on. It's like, all right, this is what life used to be like in this. Some Gen X or even understand this too, because I'm a Gen Xer, and life for me as a kid was all about social connection. And if we weren't outside playing with their friends, we were on the phone having real conversations. So I sort of feel like this is some of the nostalgia that's coming up. It's like, well, I sort of feel like life have tossed us back years ago, into something like that. And it's like, okay, well, back then, this is how we used to do things. But now it's like, okay, let's just put a fresh spin on that. So I do get the sense that the past is meeting up with the future. And there's the value of it. I feel like in the past, there was more human connection than what we've experienced today. And in the more recent decades, it's been through social media, it's been through text messages, it's been through sort of like a virtual platform. But now it's like, okay, we're home, and now what do? Well, you talk to one another. You have those conversations. You bond as a family. You bond as a community, And those of us who are seeking social outlets, it's like, okay, well, you can pick up the phone and call someone, or you can, now I forgot which app it is, but there's an app that's coming out where it's almost like a chat room. So you set yourself up for it, and you can start inviting people, and you can kind of see who's in the room. And if you want to talk to that person, you go into the room and you talk. And I think it might be a little bit of virtual, kind of like a FaceTime situation. So yeah, I feel like there's a lot of nostalgia associated with this time period for you all. And it's not a bad thing. I think you're remaining optimistic about the situation, right? It was you and it was Leo and Sagittarius who had positive readings. I think it was Leo. Yeah, who had positive readings. Everyone else was a bit heavy and stressed out. So yeah, I think with Geminis, you guys are really being optimistic about how to move the situation forward and how to navigate the new reality. And this is you manifesting a new reality. When the Page of Pentacles comes in, it's like, okay, how do we fix this? How do we, create new ideas, or how do we make this work? So the Page of Pentacles is also a student. So I feel like some of you would be taking advantage of online courses right now. You may actually be a student actually going back to school online, but I feel like for those of you who have been out of school for a while and have degrees or whatever, I think you're taking advantage of some downtime. It's like, all right, well, how can I, make best use of time other than being a couch potato? I feel like some of you are actually like maybe taking a history class, or maybe learning a foreign language, or maybe you're just, using YouTube to learn how to paint something, or learning like a craft. So I think that there's a lot of that going on right now. And, I get the sense, Gemini, that you are trying to be creative and apply, some ingenuity to the situation and really make the best out of it. This is a healing situation. This is a healing time period. And I've been saying this all night. This is a weird gift that the universe has given us. And I feel like this is definitely a social experiment and a spiritual exercise all wrapped into this global pandemic for the human race. We are all in the same situation. The borders are closed. We can't go anywhere. Some countries have shut down completely and have implemented 4-hour lockdowns. The United States hasn't quite gotten there yet. Some cities have. Some are talking about it, but there are restrictions in place with social distancing. Many of us can't go to work. The schools are closed, daycares are closed. So what to do? What does this mean? Again, I see this as a blessing in disguise, and it's about gifting us with the gift of quality time and connecting as human beings with the people that we love the most. And I feel like this is going to open us up and expand our hearts and increase our compassion and our empathy towards those in need, because the situation is dire. It is a scary and stressful situation that we're in, and it's predicted to get worse before it gets better. And the health experts are talking about another 5 days before the United States reaches the peak of the curve that we're all trying to flatten through social distancing. But that's 5 days. That's a month and a half, which means no one's going to work. And for those folks who are hourly employees or who need to be at work in order to generate a paycheck, that's just not happening. And that's just 5 days until we reach the peak. That's not the downslope. How long is that going to take? Another 5 days? So if that's the case, what are we, mid-March? Summertime? And then what? How do we recover? What does that mean for the economy? Right? So there's going to be a lot of people who are going to need a lot of kindness and a lot of assistance. And I feel like this is a healing of the human race to say, look, let's be less selfish and more selfless, and quit focusing on ourselves and start focusing on others in need who really need assistance, who really need the help, right? So I do get the sense that this is going to result in us hopefully being better human beings and better versions of ourselves. Yeah. But this is a healing and a blessing, that's coming through for this situation. Your overall outcome is the Empress, turning within, tapping into your creative power, your creative energy, and it's really understanding, my eye is itching. It's really understanding your gifts and how you can contribute to the greater good of society and community, in your community, right? This is about just opening your hearts, and just being the best version of yourself, being kind to one another, acts of kindness, random acts of kindness, no matter how big or small, it will mean a lot to that person who needs it. You'd be surprised. You got to give love in order to receive love. So, this is about creating community and coming together into oneness. All right. So I'm going to pull from Shine Your Light. Let's just see what's coming through. We've got 2 cards. So first one that came up is Anna, grandmother of Jesus, seated in the light, laying foundations, and the divine plan. She's coming in reversed, right? I'm going to show you upright 'cause it's really beautiful. Yeah, Anna, the grandmother of Jesus, seating the light, laying foundations, and divine plan. I feel like this is the perfect image of what's going on, right? I feel like this is what I'm seeing when I'm channeling, that it's just, it's about all of us shining our light and just creating a solid foundation for the new beginning. And I feel like laying the foundations is synonymous with this Empress card reversed. It's about planting the seeds. It's about what are we going to do differently with this do-over? Because I do get the sense that this is a do-over for all of us. How can we be better versions of ourselves when this is all said and done? Because the person that we enter the situation will be drastically different from when we exit. We're going to be changed human beings. This is in divine order. This is divinely guided and planned. This is a healing of the human race, I believe, of society, global society. Yeah. And your next message is Akasha. Your guidance is divinely guided. Reversed. Follow the plan. Go with the flow. Don't try not to question or try not to get caught up in the hype. Just see this for what it really is. Yes, it's difficult and it's hard and there's so much loss out there. But there is a gift there. It is divinely guided. Your guidance is divinely guided. So you are being divinely guided. So walk your path, walk your truth. All right. Let's pull from Sacred Earth. Shift. This is a big shift. It's a big global shift. You've got two. Yeah. So let's start with the Sacred Earth. Yeah. Shift in reverse. Flow with it. Don't doubt it. Don't block it. There's a lot of purple energy here. A lot of crown chakra energy. Being divinely guided, and we're seeing that with, as part of the divine plan, we're seeing that with, the Shine Your Light deck and your Akasha, right? Everything in divine guidance, divine timing, and you're being divinely guided. So flow with it, shift with it, allow the changes to happen that need to happen, and just see the situation clearly, not through the lens of fear and stress and illusion, right? There's a lot of that right now with the media. So just know your truth, follow your truth, and tap into your inner truth. So for your, what is it called? Nature's Whispers. You have two messages. The first one is Bountiful Harvest and Contemplation. Yeah, look at that. They're both really pretty cards. Yeah, so I feel like it's time to really just turn within and think about what it is that you really want from here on out. Again, life as we know it is just, it's going to be different. It's going to be changed. It's going to be different. And who we are on the back end of all this, when it's said and done, we're going to be different people, different versions of ourselves, hopefully better versions of ourselves. And it's time to really turn within and really think about that, really think about what that means and what that will look like and feel like, and just appreciate the abundance and the gifts that's coming to us. As a community, we will prosper. We have to look out for one another, though. Can't do it on our own. All right. I'm going to pull from the Archangels, and then we're going to end with an angel message. Okay, so your angel message is coming in from Uriel. Claircognizance. Okay. Pay attention to thoughts and ideas that come to you. They are answered prayers. Yeah. I'm hearing it'd be a good idea to keep a journal by your bedstand. Write down your dreams, write down your thoughts, and just kind of keep a book with you. Because I think as you go throughout your day, you're going to be receiving downloads, even in your daily activities. So it would be a good idea to kind of keep like a small little notebook just to jot things down. Because what you think When you think you're just daydreaming, you think you're just like, oh, mind is running, that's usually a download from your spirit guides, especially if it's something that's sort of like a movie reel, and you know you're going throughout your day, but you're suddenly lost in your thoughts, and then when you think back to what you were doing, you're like, what was I doing? I just remember I was thinking about this. That thought, that train of thought, that's a psychic download. That's a message from your spirit guides, and those are the things that you should be writing, keeping track of, because usually sometimes it comes up like as if you're working through a problem. You know, it's almost like a free flow, a free think. And it's like, well, this is what I'm trying to solve. How do I get there? And then you just kind of start going with it in your mind. Usually that's a psychic download. So for those of you who aren't familiar with that, it's easy to mistake those downloads just for random thoughts or daydreams. They're not daydreams. They're not random thoughts. Those are messages. All right. And your last card is an angel message from Sonia. I bring you a message from your deceased loved one. I am happy, at peace, and I love you very much. Please don't worry about me. Oh, that's beautiful. That's really beautiful. I'm getting the sense that this could have been someone who recently passed from the virus. Maybe not from the virus, but maybe someone who has recently passed. But yeah, I think that's beautiful. All right, so that's all I have for you all, Geminis. Comment below, let me know how everything is working out for you and how you're coping with the situation. Let's stay connected. Please share, like, and subscribe if you haven't done so. Yeah, until we meet again, take care. Love you all. Bye-bye.